Hey, it's me, your pal, Bill Savely, with Savages Disc Golf, and we have a ratings update. I honestly thought my rating was going to be higher than it is currently after this latest update. And you know what? Let's see why that's not the case. So, just in a nutshell, if you sign up for the Professional Disc Golf Association, you get a number. And with that number, you utilize it to play sanctioned events. Sanctioned meaning it counts towards your overall rating. Now, your overall rating, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I would imagine it's based on the difficulty of the course, how well you play, and how many people play in that specific event at that specific time who shoot better than you do, worse than you do, and right around the same level as you. I think that's how they do it. Not only that, then what happens is they start to take all of your ratings for all of your events that you play that are sanctioned, and they count that, and then they do some kind of mathematical wizardry where they then calculate what your rating is. I also know, just from looking at my stats, I looked at all of the events that I played, and the very lowest rating is a lot lower than all of the others. It was like 683. But I remember that tournament. It was the Basket and the Blossoms. It was very early on in the spring. It was on the lakefront, very cold. I had some amazing card mates, but mentally, I wasn't fully prepared for that event. I had never played the course before. It was very early on in my disc golf career. And about halfway through the round, I just kind of went, man, F this, and I didn't care. And then I started to play bad, and I didn't focus. And then that really, about 3 holes left, I went, wait, this counts towards my rating. And then, of course, I had a massive panic attack, but 683, turns out they don't even use that one. So what do? So I have in my hands all of the tournaments that I played. So I started in October, and I think my very first event was a flex. I believe it was the Delwood Flex, the Groundhog Day Flex. So that was in February of 2025. So I played 1 round, and my rating was 709. Fast forward to April. I didn't play anything in March. April, there were 3 events that I played. Or maybe 2, because then this goes cumulative. So my rating jumped from 709 to 789. And I thought, okay, maybe that's a little bit more indicative of how I play. The next time the ratings came out was May 13th of 2025. I had played 8 rounds total, counting them all together. And then I went from 789 down to 763. At the time, I believe they counted that 683 rating because they didn't have any other stuff to really go on. It isn't until later that they drop that lowest one, especially if it's like an anomaly based on your normal average score per tournament. I don't know. So fast forward to July. July of 2025. By that time, I had played 11 total rounds, and my rating jumped from 763 to 783. And I thought, okay, I'm starting to play better. I'm focusing, I'm practicing, I'm doing all of the things, and my rating is going higher and higher. August. So I played a couple of tournaments in Colorado. I played 2, and I did really well. The course was great. I had practiced it a bunch, and I played it early on in the month, and then I played that course a lot. And at the very end of the month, I had another flex at that same course, and I did very well. So my rating jumped from 783 to 794. And I thought, all right, hey, come on, let's break 800. Let's break 800. September, the next rating update was the 9th of September in 2025. By that point, I had played 14 total rounds. And my rating just bumped a little from 794 to 798. And I thought, okay, what do I have to do to break 800? Not knowing really how they calculate all of this stuff. I just thought, I've got to start turning in really amazing rounds. How do I do that? Focus. Plan. So I'm watching videos, I'm practicing. I'm getting a little bit better. I have a basket, thanks to my amazing wife, practicing some putting. So then the next update was October of 2025. I had been a full year by then. I had played 19 total tournaments. I finally did it. I broke 800. My rating was 807. And I've got to tell you, I was absolutely elated that I broke the 800 mark. Still, technically, I can play mixed amateur level 4 because you have to be 850 or below for MA 40. So that's what or MA 4, that's what I usually play. Not bad. I think 807, that's great. So I had played 19 tournaments by then. I played 2 more in October. So then when the November rating came out, I thought I was going to go higher because I played really well. No, I stayed exactly the same. 807. So that was the last big update. And I thought, okay, that's just crazy. Why didn't my rating jump? But again, it's cumulative of all of the tournaments. So I played 1 tournament in the month of November. Actually 2. But, oh, that's right. It's 2, but by now they're dropping that last event. So 23 events total, but they're counting 22. And my latest rating, I jumped from 807 to 809. So 810 is my new goal. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I still stuck here? What's the story? Why haven't I jumped? And then I started looking at my scores. And, you know, one tournament I'm an 822 rated round. But then another one, I'm like an 812. And then the same thing the month before. I think both rounds were over 800, but they weren't significantly over 800. So that's why I'm still right around 800, 809 now. Remember, my goal is 850 by the time the ratings come out in July of 2026. Lofty goals. So how do I get there? Consistency. Across the board. Consistency with my tee shots. Consistency in terms of shot placement. Being consistent with being able to shape shots. Learning all of the angles. The Anheuser, the Heiser, a flat shot. I need to be able to throw forehand, the same thing. Forehand Heiser, forehand Anheuser, forehand straight. I need to be better at my approach shots. If I can't sink that long putt, I better be able to drop it right in circle 1. Speaking of circle 1 and circle 2 starts 33 feet from the basket and out. I need to be better at putting overall. I need to be more consistent in terms of making those putts because that's how you're going to score. Chasing birdies. Taking the par when the par presents itself and the birdie is not an option, so you don't lose any ground. But I need to be better at piling up some birdies because that's going to increase my score. So that's where I'm at in December. We still have the Glow League here locally in Berwyn, but I think for all intents and purposes, I am done with tournaments until the new year. And I don't foresee there really being any events in January, especially with the weather out here. So possibly February, maybe March. That's when I think the tournament schedule will start to ramp up locally here. There'll be some flexes that you'll be able to play and it'll count towards your rating. And I'm really going to jump on those because I have a goal. I love this game. I love playing this game. I know I can be better. It's time for me to put in the work. So currently 809 rated, and I'm okay with that because I know I can see 850. 850 is just right there, just off in the distance, and I can almost grab it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing. And I'm going to be covering what discs are making my bag for the 2026 season. So stay tuned for that one. Thanks again, and I'll see you later.